Instructional Design and Technology 1, IDT 603, Flowcharts, submitted in partial fulfillment for the requirements of the degree of Master of Science in Instructional Design and Technology, MSIDT, by Gary Canada on January 18th, 2021, to Dr. Brasser. This video is sponsored in part by Long-Ear Enterprises, where we listen to the customers and provide the finest in web design and applications. Copy Dog Writing Services. We take a bite out of boring copy. And Grandpa Gary's tips, tricks, and reviews. If you're looking to find the down low and the good and the bad about any product, come see us. I want to thank you for watching this video and for taking the time out of your day. I hope you enjoy the presentation. I'm going to use a little bit of a non-conventional method, but that's just me. So let's begin with the story. In the beginning was chaos and poverty. The people were sorely perplexed and burdened with debt. They cried out in a loud voice, "Who will teach us about how to prosper?" Hearing their needs, the instructional designer had an idea. This was the beginning of the personal finance management program. The stakeholders looked at the plan and said, "We're too busy to read. Give us a picture." So the instructional designer said, "Let us create a flowchart in the image of the outline." And it was so. Using colors to group the sessions in the spirit of Gestalt to simplify the diagram and shapes to define the functions and operations according to their kind, and arrows to direct the flow of the macro flowchart was born. And the stakeholders exclaimed, "It is good." Why the different shapes, you may ask? Well, there's a standard to set out for flowcharts. And as you see, the ellipse is used for the beginning and ending, the start or end of a particular flowchart pattern. And as we progress through, you will notice that we use squares, or rectangles, to present information and points to guide the process of the training program. We also put additional information in to help facilitate creating the flow of the instructional design. The parallelogram, of course, is where you have input and output. And in this case, the outlining income and having explanations. That's the input and output of this particular phase in the first section. If you notice, this was section 1. As we progress on along, we begin to see that the next stage is building the baseline budget. This is where they begin to outline their income sources as well as their expenses, and breaking down the expenses into different categories. And again, this is an input and output stage. Next, we have to analyze and adjust the budget plan so that the budgets are balanced. If the students don't know how to balance their budget, then they'll never get ahead. Once they've accomplished this, they will have completed section 1 of the presentation. And since I'm using a rubric to a checklist type of rubric to present the information and to keep track of where the students are, you'll notice there are no real exams. We rely on the use of simulators, spreadsheets, and open discussions to make sure that the students truly understand the concepts that are being presented. As we move into section 2, and of course I haven't broken all the sections out and done them single at a time just because of time space, we see that I've chosen a different selection of colors, which groups the categories together. And this facilitates the mind that wants to simplify and group things that are related. And we have two concepts going on. One, we have the grouping process with the section 1, section 2, section 3, and so forth to break the groups, but we're also using colors to tie in the various associated sections. And as we move on, then we get into, as I had said, section 3. You notice again, we use different colors. Still, because this is a micro or our macro flowchart, there's not a lot of decision trees being made here because the flow of the course is pretty much straight through. The only deviation from that is in the detailed macro or micro flowchart. There are decisions that are made, and class input will direct the flow of the class to help facilitate the learning process. When we reach the end of the 3 lessons, we then come into the section where we begin to review all the materials and have open discussions, answer any questions, use the simulators to do what-if scenarios, to demonstrate the concepts to make sure they have a thorough grounding in the concepts. At the end, we bring up the question, where do you go from here? Because obviously, this program is designed to give people financial security. And people want better than that. They want to be able to know success. So in the last part of the discussion, we will begin to explain to them that there is more to learn, and as they learn more, they can become more and more successful. And at this point, additional programs will be offered. I want to thank you all for watching this presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you have a good insight into what we are doing, what this program is about, and I hope you're as excited about participating in the program as we are about presenting it. So once again, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you have a pleasant evening.